I'm bringing you a very thrilling film about two cold-blooded murderers who have brutally killed a series of sweet young women, including the beloved wife of a notorious assassin. Will this assassin do what it takes to avenge his wife? Welcome to Beyond Korean Films, and I am here to save your precious time. Would you like to save 90% of your time, then subscribe? Let's start now without wasting time. The story begins with a young woman traveling alone on a deserted road, but unfortunately, her car tire gets punctured. To make matters worse, the current weather is a snowstorm. At that moment, a stranger approaches her, seemingly with the intention of helping her change the tire. However, the woman smiles, thanks him, and declines his offer of help. She decides to sit in her car and wait for the rescue team to arrive. Today happens to be her birthday, but her beloved husband is not by her side. Her husband, Kim Soo-hyun, is actually an undercover agent named Kim Dong-hun, aware of his wife's situation but currently on a mission to assassinate a mafia boss. He can only comfort her and sing a song for her over the phone. However, after Kim Soo-hyun hangs up, things take a turn for the worse. She quickly turns on her headlights to see where the stranger is, only to find him shattering her car window. Kim Soo-hyun screams in horror, but she has no escape route. The killer manages to get into the car and repeatedly hits her head with a hammer. The scene is so brutal that it leaves you breathless. Kim Soo-hyun, with no strength left to resist, begs for mercy, but the cruel killer delivers another blow to her head. What will be the fate of this poor young woman? The killer drags her body through the snowstorm, intending to take her home and eliminate all traces of the crime scene. By the time Kim Soo-hyun regains consciousness, she realizes she is in a grave situation. Even knowing she's pregnant with her first child doesn't stop the killer from mercilessly ending her life. Will the heavens punish this wicked killer for his crimes? The next day, the police find all the dismembered body parts of the murdered woman. Everyone is shocked by the gruesome state of the young woman's body. Kim Dong-hun arrives at the scene, witnessing the horrific sight of his wife's murder. He is paralyzed by the harsh reality, unable to accept that just yesterday he was speaking to his beloved wife, and now they are worlds apart. Kim Dong-hun, always blaming himself for being useless, feels he failed to protect his wife and child despite being a skilled agent. He endures the bitter sorrow during his wife's funeral, vowing to make the killer pay an exorbitant price. His father-in-law, also in great pain, advises Kim Dong-hun not to seek revenge, suggesting that divine justice will prevail. However, Kim Dong-hun refuses to heed his father-in-law's words. After a few days, with his mind somewhat at ease, Kim Dong-hun requests 2 weeks leave from his superiors to hunt down his wife's killer. His superiors understand the overwhelming loss he has suffered and tell him that if he catches the killer, he should finish him off. With years of experience as an exceptional undercover agent, Kim Dong-hun quickly identifies 4 suspects linked to his wife's death. Kim Dong-hun sets off to find the first suspect. Upon finding him, he sees the suspect watching pornography and masturbating right there on the couch. Kim Dong-hun waits no longer, rushing in and beating the man thoroughly. He doesn't care if this is the man who killed his wife, he attacks first, demanding the truth. It turns out this man isn't the killer, so Kim Dong-hun spares his life, but on the condition that he will never father children again. The next day, Kim Dong-hun continues his search for the second suspect, again confronting him with extreme violence. This suspect also denies being the killer, so Kim Dong-hun gives him a few more punches for good measure. The pain of losing his wife and child fills Kim Dong-hun with murderous rage. When he confronts the third suspect, whom he believes is the killer, he encounters Kim Chun. This suspect is trying to lure another woman on a deserted road. The woman is waiting for her husband to pick her up, but he hasn't arrived yet. Kim Chun pretends to be helpful, offering to give her a ride home, leading her into a deadly trap. The killer raises his hammer, sending the young woman to her doom. Kim Dong-hun quickly discovers Kim Chun's address and finds the stash of women's underwear hidden in his safe, further increasing his suspicion. He soon discovers the truth when he finds his wife's wedding ring. Overwhelmed with emotion, he cannot hold back his tears. The plot thickens as night falls, and Kim Chun kidnaps another schoolgirl for his twisted pleasure. He wants her to perform oral sex, but as he hears a strange noise nearby, he grabs a knife to investigate. Finally, the killer comes face to face with Kim Dong-hun, whose face is filled with the rage of wanting to kill him painfully. Kim Chun attempts to stab Kim Dong-hun, but he's now facing a true monster. Kim Dong-hun lands powerful punches, knowing that the killer cannot escape. Even though Kim Chun tries to run, the agent swiftly traps him with a powerful kick and then smashes his head against a rock multiple times. Although he could easily kill the killer with a large stone, Kim Dong-hun decides that death would be too easy for him. Instead, he shoves a tracking device into the killer's mouth and breaks his hand before leaving him in a pit with some money for medical treatment. Kim Chun thinks Kim Dong-hun is truly insane, but he still continues his heinous acts. While getting medical treatment for his arm at the hospital, Kim Chun notices a beautiful nurse and decides to act. When she enters the room, he assaults her, forcing her to undress and perform oral sex. However, Kim Dong-hun arrives just in time, beating the killer mercilessly once more. He uses a chair to smash his head, making blood gush out. After the killer is exhausted, Kim Dong-hun warns him that the hunt has just begun and that he will face even more terrifying phases. With these words, he slices the killer's Achilles tendon as a second warning. Creating videos like this takes a lot of effort, and it's super easy for you to give a thumbs up and subscribe. Please do, it really keeps us motivated. Severely injured, Kim Chun seeks refuge with a friend who is an even more perverse killer with a penchant for cannibalism. Every night, this friend brings out a beautiful girl to satisfy his desires before consuming her. However, today is his unlucky day as Kim Dong-hun finds his home. The cannibal tries to kill him but ends up having his arm broken. Kim Dong-hun ties him up and tortures him painfully. Just then, Kim Chun appears and fires a shot at Kim Dong-hun but misses. With superior skills and agility, Kim Dong-hun quickly kills the cannibal, and Kim Chun is captured once more. Kim Dong-hun uses an iron rod to repeatedly smash Kim Chun's head, making blood flow. Each hunt makes him more ruthless, ensuring that such evil individuals suffer immensely before death. After knocking the killer unconscious, Kim Dong-hun takes him to the hospital for treatment. However, Kim Chun overhears Kim Dong-hun's plans while pretending to be asleep. Realizing that a tracking chip is inside him, Kim Chun buys laxatives from a pharmacy and manages to expel the chip from his body. Kim Dong-hun loses track of him, unsure of his next move. Kim Chun, however, targets Kim Dong-hun's father-in-law, brutally attacking the old man. As Kim Dong-hun's sister-in-law returns home, she senses danger but is captured by Kim Chun. When Kim Dong-hun arrives home, it's too late. He finds his father-in-law suffering from the killer's assault. The hatred in Kim Dong-hun's heart burns even brighter. Kim Chun taunts him over the phone, revealing that he has killed his sister-in-law and left her body in the middle of the street. The psychopath seems satisfied with his actions. At this point, Kim Chun turns himself in to the police, thinking he can avoid the death penalty by confessing. However, things aren't that simple. Kim Dong-hun gets to Kim Chun before the police do, capturing him in a police vehicle. Did you subscribe? I knew you will forget, but still you can do. Do it. The officers have no choice but to let him go. So, what will be the fate of the killer? Kim Dong-hun ties him up at the very place where he murdered the girls. He tortures Kim Chun as painfully as possible, making him beg for mercy. At this moment, Kim Dong-hun sheds tears, not out of sympathy, but remembering how his beloved wife begged for mercy, only for the killer to murder her mercilessly. Despite Kim Chun's laughter, believing he has won, there's only one fitting end for such monsters: death. Kim Dong-hun sets up a large knife above Kim Chun's head and quickly leaves, notifying the killer's family. As his parents and son desperately try to open the door, Kim Chun bites hard on the rope holding the knife. But it's too late. The rope gives way, and the blade falls, ending the killer's life. In the end, Kim Dong-hun avenges the agony that has tormented him for so long. However, he remains the most pained, knowing that even after revenge, he cannot bring back his wife and child. What do you think of this film? Surely, many feel the ending doesn't do justice to the cold-blooded killer, who should have endured a life of misery before a painful death, right?